You wouldn't survive 24 hours with J. Robert Oppenheimer, not because he was evil or dangerous, but because his life was full of pressure, relentless stress, and moral struggle. He was the man who changed the course of history and lived to wrestle with the consequences. Today, we step into his world, and you'll understand why spending a day with him would be a trial.
Robert Oppenheimer was born in 1904 in New York City into an intellectual family. He showed extraordinary abilities early on, studying chemistry, physics, literature, and philosophy all at once. Imagine having breakfast with him. He's asking questions about quantum mechanics, ancient philosophy, and the meaning of existence simultaneously. You try to answer, and he's already contemplating a completely new way to look at the universe.
Oppenheimer studied at Harvard, Cambridge, and Göttingen, constantly under extreme academic pressure. He worked on the edge of his abilities, argued with colleagues, set impossible goals, and barely slept. Spending a day with him? Forget a relaxing conversation. Every interaction becomes a debate where you either lose your footing or your confidence. In 1942, Oppenheimer led the Manhattan Project, the creation of the atomic bomb. This was no ordinary experiment. It was a race against time, against the fear of failure, knowing that your work could kill hundreds of thousands of people. Every day was filled with overwhelming information, impossible deadlines, and moral torment. Imagine being there with him, watching him barely sleep, arguing with military officials, working through the night, knowing the world would never be the same. Oppenheimer was charismatic yet demanding. He could be charming and warm one moment, cold and critical the next. He smoked, often went deep into thought, and sometimes disappeared into silence for hours. Spending 24 hours with him means constantly navigating between intellectual awe and moral anxiety.
After the war, Oppenheimer grappled with the consequences of his work. He was haunted by guilt and moral doubt. He spoke out against further use of nuclear weapons and faced political attacks and investigations. He carried this burden for the rest of his life. Being by his side means feeling that tension, fear, and philosophical anxiety every hour.
Oppenheimer thought on a level almost inaccessible to ordinary people. He could analyze scientific data, international politics, moral dilemmas, and personal relationships simultaneously. 24 hours with him? That's 24 hours of mental and emotional overload, constant reflection, and moral strain.
His mind drew people in. They sought his advice, debated with him, and were inspired. But it was also a source of pressure. You constantly had to keep up to avoid being left behind. Even a simple conversation became a test of intellect and endurance.
And that's why you wouldn't survive 24 hours with J. Robert Oppenheimer. He lived life on the edge, intellectually, morally, and emotionally. His thoughts were both brilliant and destructive. Being around him means existing on the brink of mental and moral exhaustion. A day with Oppenheimer is a trial few could endure.